Good morning, part twos. It is Monday, July the 6th. I know I said I wasn't going to do a video every morning, but we're going into our first full week of the course, and I just wanted to set the scene for the week. I find the part two a little more confusing than the part one and part three because of the way the novel study is put in. So I wanted us to get a good start. So the course is designed that there's nothing posted on the weekend. It's an opportunity for you to get caught up or move ahead or have that Sabbath rest, right? So make sure that when you start Monday, you're starting off on a good foot. Either you're together with everybody or you're moving ahead. So last night when I went through to check off who's done assignments and stuff, I'm noticing some gaps. There's some people that have posted and then not posted to somebody else, posted but then not posted to somebody else. So I'll just give you the day to kind of get caught up. Make sure you use your checklist to keep tabs, right? And so that I don't have to reach out to you, say, hey, you didn't respond to someone, okay? Let's look at what's on for this week very quickly. You have your first Tuesdays with Maury post, so you have one post today, July 6th. There's no asterisk next to that date, so that means there's nothing else from the other module that is due today, okay? Tomorrow we're going into prophetic call and cultural transformation, 2 posts. And then July 8th, the next day, you're having your first a Dropbox assignment, and it's the social justice organizations, and I'll give you greater feedback on that, right? And hopefully this is a hands-on assignment that you can use in your schools. This is not meant to be busy work. This is meant to feed you and serve you in your ministry, right? So, you know, ask me questions if you are struggling with anything. I would really hate if someone walked away from this course after 4 weeks being frustrated or angry for 4 weeks. One of the greatest sources of brokenness in our world is miscommunication. So it's really easy to miscommunicate, or especially if it's the written word, to interpret a tone that may not be there. I have a lot to read, so I can go wonky at the end. So I'm really trying hard to reread the words I write to make sure I haven't had any typos, or there's, you know, my tone is you know, on a good tone kind of thing, right? But I do mistakes, you know, I do make mistakes, and call me on it, you know. Don't like, please, I always ask for feedback, you know. So I like to grow in what I do, and I take constructive criticism really well, because for me it's a way to be better and to help serve you better. I'm here to serve you, right? I want you. I love Catholic education. I love working with teachers. It's brings me such joy to be able to help you guys to do your ministry better, and that's what that's the objective of this, right? So when we look and see what we've accomplished so far, you know, the focus on leadership, discipleship, you know, that's huge. You know, we're all leaders, and in whatever capacity, and it's really important to realize leaders hurt and heal. And even if you got the best intentions, there's always that opportunity to hurt someone, even though you might be healing another person, right? And so I've learned that, you know, especially as course director, you know, I try to be consistent. And even trying to be consistent, there were people that were angry at me, thought I wasn't, you know, I wasn't just, I wasn't equitable. I mean, I called people for what they were doing too. I had this one guy that would leave consistently after break, and then the instructor counted up all you know, those chunks of time that he missed, and it added up to one full class being missed. And I called him on it, and I said, well, according to the course, you know that once you miss a class, you have to do a makeup assignment. And he got so angry because he thought he was sneaking out and the instructor wasn't seeing it, and he thought he was getting away with it, and then he refused to do the assignment for me, and he was being very passive aggressive. My instructors actually had to come around me when they saw him, because he was tall. He was trying to really intimidate me, and people started protecting me because they saw what was going on. I'd actually be walked out of the building at the end of the course night. So I, you know, I've been there, right? And all I was holding on to the consistency of the expectations for everybody in the course, right? So, you know, leadership is not easy, you know, and you know that in your classrooms too, when you have to deal with parents or administration or, you know, different things like that. it's important that we grow in this leadership that is the model for us, that we really work on healing, right? Just moving over to media and religion, a lot of us are aware of how, the church is being viewed in the world, right? It's supposed to be take on this leadership role in the world. It's a global church. The Pope is like leader of the world because there's Catholics everywhere, but it's always being bashed. They're always looking for fault in it, and it's trying to heal. Pope Francis is trying to heal this church. He's made mistakes in the past. Who hasn't? But he's trying to learn from that. He's a different person. He's in a different position. He's trying to model Jesus to us, and yet he's getting bashed. I was shocked the first time I read such negative things about him, how such a big part of our church hates him. I was shocked. Here I am thinking, oh, this beautiful, gentle man is really, going into the grassroots. He's really acting like Jesus. He's really like embracing his name of Francis and engaging with the poor in simplicity and trying to bring this church back to its grassroots. And people just hate him. There's such division in our church. The fundamentals and those who are just trying to, be church. And it's just like, it shows you. But the media, we're an easy target for the media because we don't defend the church. A lot of us don't. We're just get on the bandwagon because we don't know what the church teaches. So if we hear it on the news, like, oh man, that church sucks, and then we're just right in it. No, I'm going to leave, right? Some people justified to leave. Honestly, if you were part of the sex abuse scandals or somebody, it's awful. You may spend your entire life trying to heal and may never heal. So I don't blame you. But we need to learn how to heal as a church. We need to learn how to heal as a country with the residential schools. We need to learn how to heal as families. There's so much abuse. This pandemic has brought that out. People have had to, I remember first hearing in France had to open up hotels because of domestic abuse. Women had to leave their homes because there was no gift to this isolation of being home as a family when there was abuse, right? So if we don't know who we are, we can't defend. And if we can't defend, then it's easy for others to attack us. And it's the same thing with Catholic education. If we ever lose it, it's from within, not from the externals. It's from within. It's because we don't know our story. We're not defending it. We're not doing everything we can to strengthen our system. That's why we'll lose it. Not blaming anybody else, right? And that's why this course is so important. It's not busy work. It's building. It's building that leadership we need to do what we're called to do, right? And I hate it when people look at Christian leadership and see it as something soft or something that you can just, ride over kind of thing. And it's not. I love it when people say, well, you're a Christian. Yeah, but I'm not a pushover. And neither was Jesus, right? It's hard to hold on to our principles in our faith and to lead with it because, again, it's misinterpreted. So this is a really important foundation in terms of getting us started in this course. And so I hope you guys, from what you're reading, I'm seeing it. It's amazing. But I hope you continue to move forward and don't lose this and keep adding to it as we go on through the weeks, okay? So we will start a new module later this week, right? We're going to start Ethics and Morality on July 9th. And that's also when your second Tuesdays with Maury discussion post is due as well. So you'll see an asterisk next to July 9th here and July 9th there. And I'll probably repeat that again when I do that video. But in the meantime, try to keep up. Let me know if you need help in any way. I'm keeping track. I'll touch base with you guys. Offer me feedback. Please, 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 please. Don't let anything go to the end where I could have fixed in the beginning. I enjoy connecting with you guys. I mean, it's probably one of the greatest things about this, because I know say every course, this is the best course ever. Every course I love, and I love the teachers I meet. But I have to tell you, the last course I taught during the pandemic, part 3s, I think there was just so much overwhelming shock with homeschooling, online, schooling all of a sudden, and there was really, I got very little from them in terms of conversation and stuff because everyone was just so overwhelmed. They're just trying to get through the course. But I'm loving you guys are engaging with me already, and that gives me such joy because I'm so used to, the face-to-face, having these amazing discussions in class and just kind of really enjoying that. And so when you guys do respond to me, or if you don't, I don't get offended. But always look back on your posts too to see other people are interacting with you, and they might leave you a question, or they might say, "Hey, I remember you from," like, don't put it aside. That, oh, I've already finished that post. Boom, I'm never going to look at it again. There might be an ongoing discussion going on that you might be missing. Okay, so let's build this community. Let's get the best out of this. And I know it's busy. Some of you guys have other things on your plate, I will continue to communicate with you guys like I did last night with my email, just asking you to really read the questions, and so that we can consistently, do this, because I know if you're reading somebody else's post and you've got all this stuff done, you're like, how come this person didn't do what the post said? Like, that's a consistency thing that I have to catch and I have to remind you guys of, because then it doesn't look equitable, it doesn't look fair, it doesn't look like everybody's doing the work that's required. And since this is a pass-fail, I've got to call people on it and just kind of remind you, like, okay, we need to make sure we're doing what we're called to do, so this is a fair process for everybody. So I hope everyone recognized that. I really try to do that in a way that I'm not offending anyone, or I just hope no one took that the wrong way. But that's what I'm called to do, just as you're called to do in your classroom, right? So let's have a great start to this week. Let's do the gospel of the day. And just looking at, like I do with the course, like, the gospel for Sunday was lovely. And actually I was thinking about it because it says, come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. I love that. I just love that. And I often, when I start a retreat, I use this quote. I usually use the one from Mark. This one's from Matthew. And then I pair it with Thomas Merton, who was a Trappist monk in the 60s. And I just loved this quote from him, and I'm paraphrasing. I should write it down somewhere so I always have his words. And he says, one of the greatest violence in this world is that of our busy lives. Is that incredible? Some of the greatest source of violence in our lives is that of our busyness, not of war, not of, terrorism, but that of being busy, right? Think about that. I love that. Come to me, you who are weary, and I will give you rest. That was beautiful for the Sabbath. But today is Monday, July 6th, and we're going to continue reading from Matthew. And this week, I love this. The stories are about healing. Today is a healing story, and it continues tomorrow. Is also a healing story about a demonic. So if you haven't caught on, if you haven't got your copy, or if you haven't got your app, download your app. Take a moment and read what's going on this week as you're doing this course. So let's begin. Name the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And peace be with you. And let's hold everyone in our prayers. And in this course, again, those who are dealing with illness, those who are expecting, those in this world that are struggling with this pandemic. While Jesus was speaking to the disciples of John the Baptist, suddenly a leader of the synagogue came in and knelt before him, saying, "My daughter has just died. But come and lay your hand on her, and she will live." He had faith. He knew if he reached out to Jesus, right? And Jesus got up and followed him with the disciples. And there goes the garbage truck. Sorry, it's so loud. It's Monday. Then suddenly a woman who had been suffering from hemorrhages for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak. I love this reading. For she said to herself, "If only I touch his cloak, I will be made well." Jesus turned, and seeing her, he said, "Take heart, daughter. Your faith has made you well." and instantly the woman was made well. When Jesus came to the leader's house and saw the flute players in the crowd making commotion, he said, "Go away, for the girl is not dead but sleeping." And they laughed at him. But when the crowd had been put outside, Jesus went in and took her by the hand, and the girl got up. And the report of this spread throughout that district. The gospel of the Lord. So, as we continue, as we think about our own faith, as we continue to delve into this module of faith, and this whole spirit of this part 2 is about healing and social justice. Keep reading, because it continues. Tuesday, again, I told you it's a healing gospel. It goes into the demonic. And then you've got Wednesday, where he calls people out. I like that, because it takes us right into our next module, and then we'll pray it then. So have a great day. Enjoy the start to your week, and we'll see each other soon.